This screencast covers using the TI-Nspire CX to work through some of the problems in eMathInstruction's Unit 10, Lesson 4, where we find measures of variation within a data set. Let's take a look of what we have. Exercise 1, the two data sets below, each have equal means but differ in the variation within the data set. Use your calculator to determine the interquartile range of each data set. The IQR is defined as the difference between the third quartile value and the first quartile value. So we see a couple data sets here. Let's go over to the calculator and we'll return to this document a little later. Now, I opened a lists and spreadsheet page and I entered the data for one data set. And that's data set 1 that we see over here. And just to, I did that ahead of time to save you some time. But let's enter the data set number 2. Okay, I'm going to click on that, and again, with a TI-Nspire CX, you want to label your data sets. You really don't have to worry about that with the TI-84, but I am just going to put in data set 2, hit enter, and we're going to delete that, and arrow down, and enter our data. I have a 5, again, enter, 5, enter, 6, enter, 6, enter, 7, enter, 7, enter, 8, 8, 9, 9. Okay, we have two data sets here. The cool thing about the TI-Nspire is the fact that you can plot two of these at a time. So I'm just going to click over here, and we're going to click our menu key, and we're going to go to Statistics, Statistics Calculations. Whoops. Let's try that again. Statistics, Statistics Calculations, and we have one variable, Statistics. How many lists? Well, we have 2, and we can actually graph 2 at once. So we'll click that up to 2, and we'll click this. We define our list. List 1 is DS1. List 2 is DS2. And we'll click OK. And we'll scroll over a little bit so we can see both sets of data. And now the first one here is based upon the data set 1 and data set 2. Now we want to find the interquartile range. So we're going to go down, and the interquartile, there's the first quartile, and that is Q1 of X, and we can see that that is 4.5. So I'm just going to write that down. We'll make a simple calculation here. So I have Q1. Yep. Getting used to some of my tools here. Q1 equals 4 5/10. Now we'll scroll down a little bit further, and we'll find our Q3. There's our Q3. So again, we'll record our Q3 equals 9 5/10. Now the IQR is we're simply going to subtract 9.5, which is our Q3, minus 4 5/10, which is our Q1, and we end up with an IQR of 5. Now we can quickly go and examine the next one as well. So data set 2 is right over here. It's right next to it. So I have a Q1 of 6, a Q3 of 8, and my IQR is 8 minus 6, and that equals 2. So we have a bigger range with the first data set than the second data set. Now let's return to our document here, and we'll read on. It says the interquartile range gives a good measure of how spread out the data set is. But the best measure of variation within a data set is a standard deviation. The actual calculation of standard deviation is complex, and we will not go into it here. So we'll rely on our calculators to do this. And I'm just going to highlight something here. What do we want? We're going to look for this symbol right here, kind of like that O with a little wing on it there, and that's our standard deviation. We've already made the calculation, so we're simply going to go through our data here. We'll scroll up, and there we have it. Okay, so our first data set has a standard deviation round to the nearest tenth of 2 7/10. Data set 2 has a standard deviation of 1 4/10. Okay, so we can see that the TI-Nspire CX can be used just as easily as the TI-84. In fact, the ability to look at the analysis of two lists simultaneously is somewhat of an advantage of the Nspire calculator.